It's about 21 months since I took over as president and CEO, and really for me, we have great products, we have great people, and of course we're in a tough time in the general aviation industry. So how do we manage our way through that? And when I took over, I got with the senior staff here and we put together a plan that step one would be to stabilize the business and make sure we could just hold our own in the current economy. We still want to be around. We're 75 years old. We celebrated our 75th anniversary last November, and there's no reason with such great brands why we shouldn't be around for another 75 years. So the next step for our vision was, how do we improve? So we created an improve phase which really focused around three areas of the business. It focused around market development, product development, and our cost structure. And by looking at those elements, the whole team then created a series of projects which were focused around improving the business. And the ultimate vision, of course, is to grow. So it was a three-step process: stabilize, improve, grow. And you will see from our results for 2012 compared to 2011, we grew slightly in the numbers of aircraft we delivered. We went from 135 in 2011 to 158 last year. Our plans are to grow again this year. The first half of 2013 results will be coming out shortly, and we will show growth in the first half of this year over last year, which is exactly in line with our plan. And a lot of our growth you will see in the numbers has actually been in the trainers. And that was part of the strategy, and that's still our vision, is to make sure that we can equip as many flight schools with Piper training platforms. The general aviation market is still tough. Let's not forget that. Even though Piper might be doing relatively well in overall terms, the GA portion, which is really our PA-46s, that market is still very tough, and we're seeing that market relatively flat. So we still have our challenges. We are obviously looking at our products and making sure that we're making some changes so that they become attractive to the customers. And that's part of our strategy going forward, is to be able to make changes to our products so that customers want to come back and buy the next model of the PA-46, whether it's a Matrix, a Mirage, or a Meridian. So we have that strategy. At the lower end of the market, though, which is where we saw our opportunity in the Archers, the Seminoles, and even the Senecas, we felt to get back in the flight schools was to put the G1000 Garmin avionics in the aircraft. And that's exactly what we did. When I took over in October of 2011, we launched 3 development projects. They were staggered about 3 months apart, and that was to put G1000 in the Seneca, followed by G1000 in the Archers, followed by G1000 in the Seminoles. And all 3 of those have just recently had their amended type certificates issued. So we're able to offer a better quality product in those markets. What's driving us is to make sure our products meet the needs of the customers. And if you look at the product lineup, we've actually got some unique areas of the market. For example, we have the only 6-place pressurized piston-powered aircraft there in the Piper Mirage. You're even moving up to the Piper Meridian. There are a few other aircraft that are close to it, but not at the price point we're at. So we've got some unique advantages in some of those markets, and we'll obviously use them. The competition may be having problems out there. We're really not focusing on that. We're focusing on what we need to do from our marketing point of view, from our products, to make sure they meet the needs of the customers. A big part of it is also the relationship with the customers and how we look after our customers. And it isn't just about selling them an airplane and then saying, there's your new airplane, here's the keys, have a nice day. It's how we look after them afterwards and making sure that our support is second to none. And I believe we've got one of the best support organizations in the industry, both from the availability of parts. We use Aviel, which is a global company, has great logistics, great distribution, and that really is an advantage to us. We can get parts to any part of the world within pretty much 48 hours internationally, 24 hours within the US. We also have a very, very dedicated and high level of experience in our technical support team based here in Vero Beach. So if somebody has a technical problem, they can call up our technical support group and they get an answer very quickly.
Since the early days of powered flight, pilots have struggled with landing in crosswinds. In fact, crosswinds and wind gusts cause more landing accidents than fog, thunderstorms, and icing combined. That's where the Redbird X-Wind SE comes in. By placing pilots in gusty crosswind conditions for extended periods of time, the X-Wind SE gives instructors all the time they need to teach the pilot the proper techniques for landing in crosswind conditions. For more information on Redbird X-Wind SE and Redbird's entire line of flight training devices, visit www.redbirdflightsimulations.com.
You know, some of the other things that we've done is I mentioned to you that we'd actually increased the production last year over the prior year, and we're up slightly this year. We really haven't added a lot of people because the other things that we're doing, we're looking at how to make improvements. We have actually invested in this facility. Piper, over the years, with its ups and downs, hadn't really invested much in the facility and their tooling and the infrastructure. So part of my equation was also to make sure we allocate enough capital funds to update some of our machinery. We've bought a lot of new CNC machines. We also have a 3D stereolithography machine so that we can do rapid prototyping here. We've also invested in refurbishing a lot of the tools that we build the aircraft with. To me, those are minor things. They're important things to do, but they actually also help us keep the costs under control. And in fact, in some areas, make it more efficient so that we don't have to add a lot more people, so we can make more planes with what we've got today. The Matrix, when it was first introduced, was really put out at a very low price point and was a good deal. Unfortunately, with the way costs of materials and things and labor have increased, we're not in that position to sell planes at such a low cost. So therefore the volume is down compared to what it was, but it is still selling. There are still people who don't need the pressurized cabin and are quite happy to buy a Matrix. On the other hand, the Mirage is the only six-place pressurized single-engine aircraft out there today, piston-powered aircraft. So it's in a market on its own, and obviously we're pleased that we have the product to meet that need. We are actually building, I think, one Aero this year. We make them to order. We don't offer the G1000 avionics in that. It's a G500, or you can have it as an electromechanical, but we still make those to order. There are a few flight schools that still require the retractable gear for their curriculum, and we will make them to order. So I would like to see maybe several flight schools place a larger order for those so that we could maybe make a volume run of them. But there still is a requirement out there. People still, particularly the flying schools, still want them, and we will make them to order.
Welcome to Airborne, the latest programming initiative from the Aero-News network. Hosted by Ashley Hale, Airborne is a visually stunning, weekly high-def newscast featuring guest appearances and commentary from some of aviation's leading dignitaries, as well as ANN's own familiar faces. With aggressive reporting, extensive video, and a number of special Aero features, Airborne offers truly engaging, fast-paced Aero-News content and analysis of lasting value to all of aviation.
We've done an extensive study, and there are different factors that actually affect different parts of the world. For example, in Europe, general avgas is expensive. You go to Asia, and it's typically availability over there, so different issues driving different areas. So there may actually end up being different solutions depending on which part of the globe you're in, and we're actually exploring all of them. And the 93UL is just one step in that direction. Here in the US, this company that's developing the 93UL, if that works well for them, it actually significantly reduces the operating costs, particularly for the flight schools where they're doing a lot of hours, and we're obviously talking to several of the flight schools about it. But we are looking at other solutions. We're also looking at alternative power plants, which ones would best fit our aircraft, and it'll depend on the region of the world that it goes into as to which power plant you probably need. We've looked at every diesel engine that's available on the market today. I won't deny that. I mean, I wouldn't be doing my job if I wasn't looking at them. We have looked at every one of them, and we've made some considerations. There is, in fact, one engine already in the Piper Archer, in the PA-28s, flying around in Europe. And we've actually, several of my staff have already flown that aircraft, so we know how it performs. But we are looking at all opportunities. I wouldn't be here if I wasn't having fun. I've been in this business 39 years. I started as an engineering apprentice back in the Hawker Siddeley days. Okay. And I always wanted to be an engineer, design engineer. Eventually, after a number of years, decided I wanted to move into management. So I've been around the industry a long time. I know what the people are capable of doing. I particularly know how dedicated the people are here. And when I was asked to take over this role, there was a little bit of hesitation, but I knew that I could do it, and that's what I was going to do. And I was going to do it as much for the people here, and that the plan that we were going to lay out was one about stability for the future, and not just thinking about what we were going to do in the immediate presence, but let's think long term.